Okay, so welcome to the URBONUS podcast, guys. This is a Q&A session, and we have to start this one with two important announcements. First of all, let's applause all BasketNews video team for reaching 100K YouTube subscribers. So that's huge. That's very well deserved recognition. And I just wanted to give a shout out to our video team that includes Gytis Blaževičius, Aridonas Gasparavičius, Karolis Lekas, the newcomer, Audris Žilinskas, Augustas Šuliauskas, Rytis Višniauskas, Agnius Sakavičius with his ideas behind the camera. Many of the guys I mentioned, you don't see them on the camera that often, but they do a lot of work behind the cameras to deliver great, consistent video content about European and worldwide basketball. So very well-deserved applause. I hope all our listeners and viewers also do the same. And the second shout-out goes to BN Plus members, because this podcast, the entire podcast, will be available exclusively for BN Plus members. We have almost 300 subscribers, and I just wanted to give a credit to those who support us on All-Star and GM level. So we have two GMs, Paulius Tinteris and Jason, and also a group of All-Star subscribers: Kristas Pukitis, Gabriel Serva, Janet Gergescu, David Zamzla, Nico Zinho, Rafael, Mark, T-Vold, T21, Ivaras, Wolfman, and Victory. So thank you all, and thank you each one, almost 300 that we have. And they also get not only this bi-weekly URBONUS Q&A session, but also a lot of extra content, including articles, interviews, and stuff we do on basketnews.com website under the paywall. Also, video breakdowns by Augustas as well, BN insider information that we will continue to develop throughout the season, injuries, potential cuts, signings, and etc. And of course, our great Basket News WhatsApp group with great basketball discussions, trash talk, fantasy, stream suggestions, and
fantasy seems like the number one
right now. Yeah,
topic right now.
Yeah. So yeah, let's start our Q&A session.
Excuse me, guys. I've heard there's an emergency alert. 100,000 subscribers! Woo! Everyone, celebrate. I brought some non-alcoholic
Wow, that's nice.
champagne.
Did your entrance have to be that so cringe?
Yes, for you, my friend. No, but actually, a very proud moment for all of us, I think.
That's true.
I think you were just discussing this.
Yep.
But
Yep.
and I know you love champagne on empty stomach as well. So
You might have heard
They
this
have
one,
some
right?
nice inside information. Yeah.
yeah, I heard. Some rumors,
Yeah.
some sources. But I think this is a.
Wow, you read me like a book.
You're like a walking billboard. Actually, I think Rytis today looks like a mascot. That's the best.
No, that's not what you said.
That's why we love Gytis.
That's not what you
You
said
said I
before
look
the podcast.
silly or stupid or something
Yeah,
like
the
that.
beginning was like funny, but in a bad
Funny.
way. In Lithuanian it means
You look
bad.
Funny.
so that's stupid.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what he
Anyways.
said.
That's cool. I can take that.
I'm here to raise a glass with you guys.
Wow. I'm so surprised and excited about your energy, actually.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's fake. Don't worry.
Yeah,
about
because
it.
your videos usually
in
don't.
the morning. Is
Huh?
it like you were boomer or bummer? How to pronounce it? In the morning,
No,
like you
you're the boomer.
We're
No,
we're
Rytis
the
is the
boomer.
boomer.
I'm the real boomer here.
All right, cheers, guys. I don't know how the camera can
Aye.
see us, but
Cheers, my man.
Cheers, guys.
cheers, and thank you to you guys for watching and for subscribing, following, and all that.
Wow, that's cool.
That's me. Enjoy your podcast.
When are we reaching 200K?
1 million. 1 million is the next milestone, man.
1 million is
No
the next
more
milestone?
Ks. No more Ks. Just millions.
I
Wow.
think 200K by next year. That's a good goal.
200K
By 2020, by the end of 2024.
Okay.
Let's try to do that.
That's too long, I think.
Champagne is nice.
We should try.
All right.
Okay, so now that's out of the way. We can start from the beginning, right?
That's how we should start every podcast, to be
I'm
honest.
gonna do podcast with this.
Yeah, that would
Can
inspire
I,
us.
Aridonas? Is it okay if I hold it here? Thanks.
That's the way to start the podcast. Right? I like that. Yeah.
So what was the first question?
User DL9VT8ML7J. Wow, that's
that necessary?
That's a nickname. Worst player signing of the summer, or in other words, another attack on Akila Polnara by Augusto Šuliauskas, right?
Wow. Because you attacking Barcelona players are okay.
Yeah.
Signing local players as
Not
well.
Not players. The front office, not players. They have nothing to do with the buyouts and contracts that they got.
Yeah, but I mentioned the same about Akila Polnara. Contract, not the player.
I've just heard a lot of bad things about the person.
Wow.
Polnara, not the front office. Yeah.
Person, not player.
Yeah, exactly.
Contract. Wow,
exactly.
now you're exaggerating.
Yeah. That's
Rytis,
what we do on
can you help me out here?
I
What's
mean,
your
usually the worst signing is always something about the GM rather than the player. I mean, it might be a good player in the wrong place with the wrong contract, and it's on you as a general manager. And the player is just looking for the best offer available to earn money and to play basketball at the highest level. So, I mean, you cannot really blame the player for the circumstances. I think that the worst signing award should go to the GM of the team, of the person who made the decision, not to the player. But we have our opinions. Of course, the season hasn't even started yet, so maybe some of the names we mentioned might prove us wrong. Hopefully will prove us wrong. But to me, the worst signings are all the signings of former NBA players that have a big name and have a big injury history, and some teams decided to gamble on them.
Each case is very individual. Like, for me, the worst signing also means that you paid a lot of money. You gave a huge contract.
Yeah.
In some cases, like Serge Ibaka, he didn't go there for a big paycheck.
So I wouldn't mention Ibaka because from that group, I can see him playing a role and being valuable to Bayern Munich. But Jabari Parker and Kemba Walker signings, to me, they don't make much sense, especially knowing that Monaco already has 3 great ball handlers.
But that's where like these two for me are different. Jabari and Kemba. Like Jabari is coming to replace Mirotic, like it's a player for player swap. While Kemba, if it doesn't work out, you still have those 3 to, they carried you to the Final Four last year. So it's not like if Kemba doesn't work out, they are in trouble. Meanwhile, Barcelona, if Jabari doesn't work out, and the guy has played 27 games in the last 3 years, if that doesn't work out, they are left with Joel Parra and Oscar da Silva at the 4 position. And Sergio Martinez playing 3 and 4.
And I get what you're saying, and I agree. I agree with that. But also, Kemba Walker signing to me seems like an unnecessary signing. Like, you already have enough quality, enough talent. Why would you bring another player that demands the ball in his hands? And in the end, even if he performs at certain level, it might affect team chemistry negatively, because we know Mike James wants to run the team. We know that Jordan Lloyd is a prolific scorer. We know that Eli Okobo, as a young player, with every year, it seems to me like he wants to be the leader more and more. So on top of that, to bring a household name like Kemba Walker, and people will have certain expectations if he plays. Once he suits up, people will want to see him actually play and have the basketball in his hands. So to me, it seems like an unnecessary signing. If Monaco signed Jabari Parker, I would say it makes more sense for them to gamble on a player of that position.
I can see your point about it.
And Jabari Parker, to me, in Barcelona is a strange signing, because Barca is not known for gambling with players. They either go for local players, they pay the buyout and sign the local player, or they sign players that are already proven in Europe. And now all of a sudden you're signing a former NBA player that has 2 ACL injuries on the same knee and hasn't really played in the last couple of years and didn't get a contract in the NBA. So I saw him in a couple of Liga Endesa games, and I'm not really convinced that he's going to be successful in the EuroLeague.
Yeah, the only downside of Kemba Walker signing is that, as you mentioned, it can affect the team chemistry. It already, I think, in my eyes, it already affected the team chemistry with all the stuff that happened during the offseason. And Mike James, considering leaving the team, I think that he said on the podcast, on the URBONUS podcast, that it wasn't, the main thing that kind of, made him start thinking about some other situations, but I think that it for sure had a big impact, and of course with all these things that we cannot, know how it will go during the season, how they will share the ball. Although I think that the initial expectation for Monaco was to make some noise, and they did make some noise actually.
Now we have to win basketball games.
But they can win basketball games with the roster that they had. So even if if Kemba Walker is not going to play any EuroLeague game because of his health, they already kind of came out winners from this deal, just with that downside of kind of putting Mike James in an uncomfortable situation, and we're talking about the number one guy on your team.
But also basketball-wise, I mean, even if he plays, he's a liability on defense, and I don't think Monaco needs that. You already sometimes have to hide Mike James on defense because you need all his energy on offense. So why would you have two players like that, like luxury players? And I predict that by December, Kemba will be in the United States of America, released by Monaco. My prediction is that he will not last this
what's
season.
his situation actually?
From what I heard, that's why I cannot consider it as a worse signing, because from what I heard, it's kind of an open contract. If he's not healthy or if he doesn't fit, there's no such thing as a buyout, clause, to let him go for some specific amount. And vice versa, if he performs that well, that NBA team starts considering him seriously, he can come back to the United States. And I don't think that there's such thing like a big fee for him. So
it's another thing, like in Europe, worst player signing of the summer, it's much harder to evaluate the worst contract or the best contract in Europe, since we simply don't know all the details.
That's
in
true.
the European
we
contracts.
just see what happens on the court.
We see what happens on the court.
Well, maybe you
might
have a little bit
we
more
might know
inside
the
info.
actual number, but for example, we don't know. Everybody doesn't know if Kemba has an open contract. What's Jabari's deal looks like?
Yeah.
And that
I think he
makes
has
it much
NBA exit
different.
clause. Yeah, there was something.
But we
about
know
that
for
before.
sure that Jabari Parker
difficult.
last season was offered to Eurocup teams for not a lot of money, and those teams actually declined Jabari Parker. So,
By the way,
but just to finish, I'm sorry. I wouldn't have a problem with Kemba Walker signing, let's say, if Monaco needed a guard. So if they gambled with an NBA veteran for other positions like small forward, power forwards, even center, I wouldn't have an issue with that. It's just that the signing doesn't make sense to me basketball-wise. I know that it draws a lot of attention to Monaco, and it makes it seem like they did something unbelievable.
And it's important for the EuroLeague as well to show the EuroLeague that that's one of the reasons that why they should get the A license. So.
And that is fair. That is fair. It's just that basketball-wise, it doesn't make sense to me.
And just to add, it's good that you brought this topic about the NBA newcomers. I think that the second part of the GM survey that we did on BasketNews will be published today on basketnews.com, and I asked the GMs to select the best NBA newcomer that will have the most successful season. And there were 3 players that received the most votes. They actually received the same amount of votes. And the top 3 guys are Willy Hernan-Gomez, no surprise, PJ Dozier, makes sense, and Jabari Parker. That surprised me a lot, really. I didn't expect that EuroLeague GMs have high expectations for him.
But in my opinion, Willy Hernan-Gomez shouldn't be in this discussion. He's not a newcomer.
Let's say a player which is coming from the NBA.
Okay.
He's kind of, newcomer
if I
coming
had
from
the
the
same
NBA.
question in the same survey, I would only focus on the players that didn't play in EuroLeague at all.
But, it's very tricky because Serge Ibaka, did he play in
He did.
EuroLeague?
He
6
did.
games. 6
Whatever,
games.
that counts.
Yeah, but it was like 12 years ago. It was different
I
tournament.
would focus on guys like Frank Kaminsky, Sterling Brown.
I just didn't want to make
PG
that
Dozier.
difficult to EuroLeague GMs to check who played there or not.
I think that would be just. I just think that it would be
More fair.
more fair assessment.
Because I remember that
Because we know that Vili, he has EuroLeague experience. Even when he was very young, you could see that he's a good pick and roll center, and there's no reason. I mean, it's a safe bet to say that he's going to have a good season.
But it's a safe bet to say that he's gonna have a good season, not because of his EuroLeague history. I would say
Not only
but
because
his
of that,
profile
but
fits
that
European
helps.
basketball so well.
But it also helps. I mean, playing in Eurobasket and all that stuff, it's very different when American players that not only didn't play in EuroLeague but never played in FIBA, and they're coming into the EuroLeague. Okay, Kemba played in FIBA. Kemba played in the 2019 World Cup in China. But yeah, just a thought.
Yeah,
Can I bring another topic up with those
Sure.
ranking
Go for it.
surveys that you were sending out to players and to all the European media members, GMs, and all the guys? I saw Jordan Lloyd respond to the BasketNews player ranking, which was done by...
It was we conducted 38 head coaches, scouts, GMs, and media members from entire Europe.
Okay.
So can you clarify, because that was Jordan's question,
Yeah,
what was the criteria and how? What was the process
I mean,
behind ranking all the
Basically,
players?
ranking every guy with a point system.
from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we kind of explained how people should rank them. There is a ranking scale that we gave, like you can give a player from 9 to 10 if he is EuroLeague MVP contender.
Yeah.
Let's say 10, he's a clear, let's say top 3 contender for
Yeah.
the MVP. And if you give him 9, it's like he might be, but he might be not. So from 7 to 8, all EuroLeague first team caliber player. From 5 to 6, all EuroLeague second team caliber player. From 3 to 4, he would be a starter on a top 4 caliber team. And 1, 2, the best of the rest.
Okay.
So 38 people, they were like doing this ranking. They ranked almost 100 players by this ranking scale, and we just combined all the results and just ranked them by the points they received.
So it's not us actually making the ranking.
I did the survey.
Yeah,
Okay.
But
you did it.
Me too.
Yeah,
you did too.
me too.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, in the end, you have the list, right? Someone's in the 30th position, someone's 22nd, someone's going to be 15th, and whatever. But it's hard to compare players. Like you're comparing a point guard to a center. It's very hard to determine who is who. Like you're voting for Eddie Tavares as a 10 or as a 9, but that also is part of the reason is that he's playing for Real Madrid. You put Eddie Tavares to Asvel Villeurbanne and he's not an MVP contender. So it's tricky, And in the end, I get it that some players might feel underrated. Some players might feel left
But
out.
it's not about that. It's more about the skill. If his skill, if the particular player's skill is worth, let's say, EuroLeague MVP consideration.
I think
Not
that
just have a realistic shot.
that Eddie Tavares' skill is worth MVP consideration when he plays for Real Madrid. I mean,
So would
his skill when he's playing for Cape Verde gives him 8 points per game average because he doesn't have the teammates that can create for him. So,
But you wouldn't rate him. You wouldn't give Eddie Tavares 1 or 2 points because he's
No.
playing for a smaller
I
team.
wouldn't, but I wouldn't rate him 9 or 10 if he plays for a different club. So it's hard.
It's
like
tricky.
you have to, let's say, rate Darius Thompson and Eddie Tavares. Well, you still see them as different players in a different environment, and you
Right.
cannot say that he's better than him. A lot of things come into
Right.
consideration. That's why I'm saying players that maybe feel left out or underrated shouldn't feel that way, because it's not, the list doesn't say that he's better than you. It's just a lot of things come into consideration. Where he's playing, what did he achieve before, and all that stuff.
Anyway, the funny part why I brought this up is the response
By
he
Sasha
got on
Obradovic?
Twitter by his own current coach, Sasha Obradovic, who wrote, "Jordan, for me, you're gonna always be my number one. For me, you're gonna always be number one as a person and as a player." And that's happening on Twitter. So
At 1:18 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah, it's 1:18 a.m. actually. So,
But is this the real
anyway.
account of Coach Sasha?
Yeah, it is.
It is a real account.
It is.
Yeah.
I think so.
So who's your number 2 on that team then?
Anyway, my question for you guys: Jordan Lloyd was 30th on this list, and I'm gonna tell you the guys who are in front, and you tell me is he a better player or not. But this is a blitz; you don't have to think about it, okay?
Okay.
Guys, this was only the short segment of the entire URBONUS Q&A podcast. To watch the full show, you have to subscribe us on basketnews.com/plus.